Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. So I have two easy peasy breezy, absolutely adorable Easter wall hangings that I am excited to show you. And I also have one quirky, fun Easter little surprise that I just thought I would throw in for a hoot. And so the lighting is just coming and going, and I do apologize, but I'm sitting in front of this big window and the sunlight is just streaming in, and it is just food for the soul. It is 78 degrees and it has been wonderful today. I don't even care that the weatherman says that tomorrow it's supposed to rain, because today has just been absolutely glorious. So you just take it one moment at a time, and you just live one moment and enjoy that moment that you are given. And you don't worry that tomorrow may not be so glorious. Just take today as it is. So that being said, let's just start crafting. I'm going to start this craft off with the wreath form that I got at the Dollar Tree that looks like a carrot. And then I got some soft poly mesh at Hobby Lobby in orange, and I got some deco mesh at the Dollar Tree in green. And I'll circle back to that, but I'm going to secure the soft poly mesh onto my wreath form with some florist wire. I'm going to put these outdoors. They will be in the elements 100%. So I'm not going to use a lot of hot glue. I am going to make sure that these are secured on with florist wire. Hot glue does not do well in the rain and heat and the elements. We have had some really kind of warm days, so I don't want it to melt. And so I'm just going to make sure that I have these really good with florist wire. I will cut them and this poly mesh, and I will actually secure it temporarily with some hot glue. I'll run a bead of hot glue and make sure that it's down, and I'll use my scissors so I don't burn myself. However, I'm going to take some florist wire and I'm going to come in through the loops of the poly mesh, and I'm going to make sure that it's nice and wired on with some florist wire. Now I'm going to circle back to the poly mesh. I did get that on clearance for $2.49. It's a it's not a 6-inch roll, it's a 10-inch roll by 30 feet, and I got it for $2.49. It was originally $9.99. I've watched the Hobby Lobby ad for about a month and a half now. They used to mark down their ribbon, tulle, and deco mesh every other week at 50% off. About a month and a half, I noticed they started about 40% off. So every other week they do put their items on sale in that department, but it's not 50% off, it is 40% off. So I guess they assumed nobody would be crafting with orange at this time of year, so they had clearanced this out. I bought some extra for the fall, because $2.49 for a 30-foot roll. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So I'm going to cut 9 of these. They're 6 to 8 inches. I didn't measure them exact. I'm just not an exact measurement kind of girl. I cut 9 for two each of the sides, and then 1 each for the top and lows of my carrot tops. And then I cut about 6 of the loops for the insides of the carrots, but I just wanted them to have some dimension, some height differences for the carrots. So for the sides and the tops and bottoms of the carrots, I took my little deco mesh and I rolled it like a burrito, and I took my florist wire and I put it at the bottom of my deco mesh, and I just kind of wired it on to the side of my wreath. And then I wired one to the top of my wreath, and then I put one on the bottom of the little carrot loop. And this would kind of give my carrot kind of that little carrot top, that little weedy kind of look. And you can do your decommage several different ways. I just did mine like the little burrito for this because I thought this way, especially, it looked more carrot topish, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. But, and then I just kind of pulled it to the upright position. It's going to kind of wobble around. I usually use pipe cleaners, but outside in the rain and whatever, pipe cleaners get a little icky and kind of gooey, and I didn't want that. So I just did this whole craft with florist wire. I went in to every other one, cinched it up in the middle, and then I put about 6 in between just to kind of give it some stability and fullness. I got these flowers at the Dollar General for $1. $1. I mean, that was great. And I thought they were absolutely gorgeous flowers. And so I just kind of arranged them however, pulled them apart however I thought was the prettiest. And then I just wired them to the wreath form. And then I was ready to make my bow. I decided to go with a messy bow. I had 3 different colors of kind of orangish burlap ribbon that I had bought at the Dollar Tree at different times. And so I just laid them on top of each other and I cinched them in the middle with some twine. And then I just dovetailed my ends, just kind of folded them and cut them an upright angle. And then that's the most time consuming thing to making this bow. And then when I had all of those kind of little angled and pulled apart and fluffed, even a messy bow has to be fluffed, I just tied it onto the wreath form. And then my little carrot was all finished and ready to hang up. I thought it came out really cute and oh so simple. So happy to find this bunny head wreath form at the Dollar Tree because I missed out last year on getting this little bunny head, and this year I had thought I picked it up, and when I got home all I had were the carrots, and so I was just totally disappointed, and so I went the next day and they were sold out. So I found this in Broken Bow, Oklahoma when I went on my little girls trip, and I was just thrilled to death that I actually, and they didn't have that many, so I was thrilled to death that I actually got this little bunny wreath form. So anyhow, I have really intended to do this project with the fiber claws, the little mop heads, not really speaking well, the little mop heads. And so I had bought some. And, but then I remembered that in my craft stash, I had bought some fleece from Walmart in a big roll. And I had done the snowman with this fleece. And so I thought, well, I might as well craft my stash and use up some of that fleece. So that is exactly what I did, and I just put the mop heads away for later. That roll of fleece, that has gone a long way. I'm really impressed. So $10 for a fleece roll of Walmart. It's lasted me, and I still have some left after this project. So there you go. Anyway, I just laid it on the bunny wreath, and then I just kind of cut little strips, and I just glued it around and around, and then I just kind of went in around the ears and glued it around. Simple, easy as pie, and it covered so cute. And I thought it turned out just so cute. For my ears, I just laid the fleece around, and then I just kind of hot glued the wreath form. And then I'm not a exact measuring kind of girl. So I just kind of cut around to see how much I kind of needed. And then I did a little bit of hot gluing on one side, and then I kind of played with it so there wasn't any funny wrinkles or pulls or kind of anything weird that was going to show on the other side. And I just kind of folded it, tucked, and kind of glued as I went along. And the ears were just a little bit awkward, honestly, that was the hardest thing about this whole wreath. But I will have to say, the very tippy top of the ear was probably the most difficult to get tucked in and to get folded down because it kind of wanted to turn into a square. I'm sure somebody has the most wonderful way of doing things so that doesn't happen. I figured it out and I got it to work, but it just took me a couple of tries. And then the second ear, it went on like a dream because I had already struggled with the first one. You know how that goes. You kind of figure it out the first time around, and then the second one just comes together. I picked up these little spring flowers at the Dollar Tree. They were so beautiful, just pinks and purples, and I clipped them off with my little wire cutters, and then once I had them all clipped off of the stems, I kind of just arranged them on the side of the bunny the way I thought that I wanted them to lay, and kind of fussed around with them a little bit, and then I just hot glued them into place. And I just love spring flowers. I love the pinks and the purples, and it has been so warm the last few days. And then you look and you see the beautiful pinks and purples and blues and all the yellows and the jonquils coming up out of the ground. Oh my Lord, it is absolutely gorgeous. So it breathes new life in you, and it makes you just kind of happy to the soul. I got some Easter ribbon at the Dollar Tree. It is wired, and it is the same pattern on both sides. So there's no twisting. It's just laying the loops on top of each other. And so I did a 4-loop bow, and I clipped it off with a chip clip to hold it. And then I have this polka dot ribbon that I bought at Hobby Lobby last fall, and I thought it paired very well with the polka dot ribbon or the plaid ribbon, and I wanted to use it all up and just kind of, I have so many things floating around. One last spool that I had to mess with. So I kind of did a couple loops, and then I had to twist that because it was not the same pattern on both sides. So I had to kind of make my loop and then twist the other loop so it was the same pattern, and I did just a couple of loops, and then I did another 2 larger loops to put behind that. And then I just took some florist wire and I wired it all together. Bows are not mysterious, they're not hard, they're not, just once you get the hang of it, they're absolutely wonderful, but the secret is a good fluffing. You just take those tails and you just twist them and you fluff them, and then when you think that you're through fluffing, you just give them another fluff. And once I had it all fluffed out, I went ahead and I just hot glued it to the top of my bunny frame, right under the ear. I put my little bow, and then I thought I needed another little bow, so I just made a 3-loop bow and added a polka dot tail, and I put this at the end of my flowers, and it was so cute and so much fun to do, and I love my bunny wreath. quirky little craft that I thought I would show you is these 6 large craft eggs that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I took my craft knife and I cut them very carefully in half. I was unsure as to what I would find when I cut these little eggs in half. They are a solid egg. I did not know if they would be solid or if they would be hollow. Either way, I was prepared to deal with whatever I found. I picked up some Dollar Tree spackle, and then I just took the Dollar Tree spackle on a little plastic spoon, and I just spread some out on the top of this egg, mostly to keep all of the little flyaways, the little styrofoam flyaways, to keep all of that kind of from, flying away, and then also give the texture of a hard-boiled egg. And then I just kind of smoothed it out. I took some spackle out of the jug and I put some bright yellow apple barrel acrylic paint, and I squirted some in there until I got the color just right that looked like an egg yolk. Mixed that all up, and then I started putting a little dab of that yellow spackle on top of my egg. I'm making deviled eggs, if you hadn't guessed. So, eggs have gone down from $6 to $2.57, but, I thought it would be fun to make some deviled eggs. I love them. I think they're cute. So when I was finished with making my deviled eggs and I set them off to dry, I just made a little finger bow, looped the loops together with some bunny ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree. I thought the Dollar Tree really outdid themselves with the cute bunny ribbon this year. And I just tied that off with a little kind of a plaid ribbon that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And I cut my tails down to size and kind of fluffed this little bow out too. And I was ready to display it. Dollar Tree came out with these little egg serving trays. I seen them in lime green and lavender. I picked up the lime green. I hot glued my bow onto the top, and I thought it was a perfect way to display my little fake deviled eggs. That you enjoyed my craft, and I hope you enjoyed my quirky little craft that I threw in there. I'm telling you what, I got that inspiration when eggs went up to $6 a dozen, and I was like, oh, holy cow, what are we going to do for Easter? A dozen eggs. That's, in our family, that doesn't last very long because each and every one of us love deviled eggs. So I was like, well, I'm going to make some fake ones, put those out on the table, see if anybody notices. And then I thought better of it because somebody will notice, and then I'm going to get run out of town very quickly. But anyway, the thought did cross my mind. Anyhow, these don't cost $6 a dozen to make either. I mean, they're very cost effective. But my mother got up the next morning and she was like, hey, what about those eggs that are on the counter? She is like, do those need to be put up? And I'm like, they're fine. They're not real. Don't eat those. Don't. Anyway, she is the life of a character, and she's new to this, but she's learning that not everything that looks really good is okay to eat. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video, and give me a thumbs up. And you guys have a great week, and thanks for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.